Hello, my name is Pursy P. Oh, go away. My name is Pursy P, and this is going to be the first video, and it's going to be on the wonderful Young Turks. And they're talking about how Gavin McInnes is going full snowflake. I can only imagine this is going to go wonderfully.
Gavin McInnes is the founder of Proud Boys. These are men who include white supremacists, neo-Nazis. They go around town.
Don't you love it when Democrats when Democrats talk about, oh, they have white supremacists in that group, they have neo-Nazis in that group. There are neo-Nazis and white supremacists in the Democrat Party. There are neo-Nazis and white supremacists in the United States. That means all of these groups must be neo-Nazis. And, oh, the Republicans have them too. Why not every group is horrible? Because they have at least one neo-Nazi and one white supremacist. So that means all of them are horrible. This is retarded. The Proud Boys is in multiple countries. Just because they have white supremacists and neo-Nazis and a group that is in countries like the United States, the United Kingdom, Australia, and probably Canada, probably some other countries. Wow, there are some white supremacists and neo-Nazis. Thank you for informing us that groups have bad people sometimes.
Getting into scuffles and physical altercations with people.
Okay.
Anyway, update on Gavin McInnes is that he lives in this wealthy part of New York known as...
From what I've heard, it's a suburb from him. Maybe this was him describing his old house, but he describes himself living in the suburbs. Just because it's wealthy means nothing. In fact, that's probably more beneficial to you guys because rich people tend to be more liberal. Well, it depends on their profession, but generally people who are richer tend to be more liberal because a lot of the positions that make a lot of money tend to be more liberal. Continuing forward.
Larchmont, and he is hated by his neighbors, and he is crying about it.
I'm sure Gavin McInnes isn't crying about it. If we want to talk about crying in the aspect of being upset, how about we talk about you with anything you don't like to hear? Like, for example, being Armenian, yet being in the Young Turks. The irony is just wonderful in that, by the way.
So that's what I love about stories like this, because Gavin McInnes talks about what a tough guy he is, day in and day out. And then he finds out that his neighbors...
He's certainly tougher than Chank.
...dislike him, and he whines about it.
You whine when people don't agree with you, so, I mean, it's the same thing. People don't like other people not liking them. Okay, I don't like when people don't agree with me. Doesn't mean I'm a snowflake.
So he said the following on one of his broadcasts of InfoWars.
InfoWars is stupid, and your point is, as if that's going to contribute something more. Some of the things on InfoWars I agree with, some of it I don't. For example, I don't believe it should have been removed from multiple social medias. I don't believe it was hate speech. Because I don't believe hate speech should be something that's limited unless it's a call to action of endangerment. So this is pointless.
He said, quote, "I blame George Soros for all..."
How did I know that they were gonna go, George Soros, he just hates Jews? I guarantee that's gonna be part of it as well. Here's a couple things to note. George Soros has donated $23 million to trying to defeat George Bush back in 2000, in the mid to early 2000s for his re-election run. This was per the Washington Post in 2006. He had donated to 527 various groups. Like I said, he had donated $23 million. He has been in line with groups like the Democracy Alliance, the Center for American Progress, and he has donated at least $10 million to Hillary Clinton, if not more. This is just the public knowledge. He has donated over $33 million to groups on the left-leaning side. So, is it really that far-fetched to believe that Soros is a liberal, and to expect liberals to be so petty? Don't get me wrong, I don't think George Soros paid people to put on signs in there. And by stinking Gavin McInnes's neighbors, I think that's a bit petty. But
all of this.
they act
Soros
like
is terrorizing me and trying to shut down my fraternal club, the Proud Boys, and he's paying people to mess with my life and spread these lies about.
Yes, I know, Anna. You're trying to cry. You're trying not to cry because someone has a differing opinion from you.
About me, spread fake news. Oh, are you gonna be okay, Gavin?
This is ironic coming from Anna or Cenk.
I'm pretty sure that the person spreading terrible things about you is you.
Why? Because he believes in masculinity, and you and the Young Turks believe that everyone should just be a feminine piece of crap? And no, I'm not saying people who are feminine are a piece of crap. I'm saying Anna Kasparian is a piece of crap.
On a regular basis. I mean, he doesn't shut up about what a terrible person he is.
You don't shut up about what a terrible person you are. Your point is?
In fact, I'm going to skip ahead, and I'm going to go to video 8. This is Gavin McInnes. This is a video compilation.
First of all, the fact that you note that she says this compilation means it can be taken out of context.
Of all the disgusting things that Gavin McInnes has publicly said.
I started this gang called the Proud Boys. And
the Proud Boys?
The Proud Boys.
What's Proud Boys about?
We will kill you. That's the Proud Boys in a nutshell.
Note how they cut from one video of him describing what the Proud Boys are to another. What was he going to tell Joe Rogan? And Joe Rogan's a fair-minded person. He's a little bit left-leaning on certain aspects, a little bit right-leaning on certain aspects. So, of course, they take it out the part where he responds to Joe Rogan. It's just funny, in my opinion.
We will kill you. We look nice. We seem soft. We have boys in our name. But like Bill the Butcher and the Bowery Boys, we will assassinate you. Now, part of the reason I agree to do...
I love how they start this part of the video with literally I assume, since they're all dressed in black and throwing stuff, and I'm going to bet that unless these are the Proud Boys, which from what I know about the Proud Boys, they don't dress like this, that's probably Antifa. And from the aspect of him throwing something, I'm going to imagine he started the conflict.
The talk is...
Oh, look, someone with a MAGA hat responds to the thing being thrown.
Because I'm allowed to bring all my guys. And we can fight our way in and fight our way out.
So what you're telling me... Also, horrible, blurring, because you can literally tell what the word is. But I guess it's kind of... You want them to know what they're saying? Regardless. So what you're saying so far is that they believe in resolving violence with violence, an eye for an eye. This is a dumb point. So what you're telling me is that Antifa has gone so far that a counter Antifa of the right side of the aisle has been created through the Proud Boys. Okay. If Antifa wasn't such a problem, this probably wouldn't have happened.
I think it's our job to do it. And the cops to turn a blind eye.
I don't know the context of this quote. I assume what he is saying is that the cops shouldn't get involved when they're trying to retaliate and prevent them from fighting back with members of Antifa. Because from what I can tell about, and I've done a little bit of research on the Proud Boys, and from what Gavin McInnes' opinion is they believe in violence. Yes, but they believe in violence resulting from violence. He doesn't believe in just beating the snot out. And this is his words, not mine or theirs. TYT's. This is Gavin McInnes himself saying they don't believe in violence. They believe in self-defense. Not even self-defense. Using violence to fight violence. Fire to fight fire. Which, by the way, is not a good idea. Because you're encouraging both sides to get more extreme. Until you get a literal civil war going on. But the problem is that they make it as if it's a one-sided thing. Also, I do not endorse if Gavin McInnes is literally saying cops should turn a blind eye. I disagree.
If you're wearing a MAGA hat, as Sal is right now, Sal's in the studio, folks.
Oh my God, it's Sal Cipolla. Where are you from?
On here.
Wow, you came a long way.
If you're wearing a MAGA hat and some guy with a slightly punk demeanor comes up to you and says, hey, are you Sal or are you pro-Trump? Choke him. Trust your instincts. Don't listen to what he has to say. Choke him.
I don't get the context of this, but I would not encourage this.
If I do a video where I say, how about we start throwing bricks? Is that legal? You can't call for violence on a specific person, but can you say they're throwing bricks? We should throw bricks.
This is the point I was literally just making. He's saying, if they can throw bricks, why can't we throw bricks back? He's basically saying fight fire with fire. So, a lot of these videos in context are saying, let's fight the violence with violence. So you're saying this dude is full of hate. He's responding to hate. So, no, it's not a good thing for him to do, in my personal opinion. But you're acting like he's doing it for no reason, which is retarded. Like you.
Can you call for violence generally? Because I am.
So a number of his neighbors learned about him after the Proud Boys got into a physical altercation with protesters in Manhattan. This was after they were invited to the Republican Metropolitan Club to speak, which gives you an idea of what the Republican Metropolitan Club of New York really thinks about
that they believe in masculinity and not being a wussy like you and Chank.
Groups like this. But anyway, so the neighbors...
And the only real people who've addressed... Like, I know that they're addressed as a hate group by the Southern Poverty Law Center, which, looking into their bias, they're a left-leaning thing. They're a left-leaning entity, and the source I used was probably a more left-leaning source, because it considered Louder with Crowder and Daily Wire to be a lot less factual, which I doubt. And here's the even crazier thing. They called the Daily Wire and Louder with Crowder borderline extreme right. What about Daily Wire's extreme right? What about Ben Shapiro is extreme right? I don't understand this. So, the Proud Boys are a hate group by a left-leaning organization. Okay. The Proud Boys aren't nearly as big of a problem as Antifa. So, and no, it's not about comparing. Oh, if this is okay, why isn't this okay? No, both shouldn't be a thing. Or I shouldn't even say the Proud Boys shouldn't be a thing. The Proud Boys should not endorse the violence. But you shouldn't endorse the Proud Boys' violence, but you also shouldn't endorse Antifa's violence.
Find out that he's not a good person and they don't want anything to do with him. Some of them wanted to put up signs on their lawns indicating that they condemn hate. And Gavin...
Like you? They condemn hate like Anna Kasparian, who throws slurs at anyone she doesn't agree with. Because if Gavin McInnes is hate, you certainly are the opposite side of hate. And I don't mean that as in you're a good guy. I mean you're the left's version of hate. Which, Anna, my lassie, you're a horrible person to be using the, oh, hate's bad spiel.
McInnes has been whining and crying about it.
So,
like you.
He says they're...
Chank, your voice is annoying, and you need to go on a diet, my bud. Continue.
They're targeting him, and they're coming after... But wait a minute. They didn't do anything. You called for violence. They didn't do anything like that.
No, Antifa called for violence. He called for an eye approach of bringing violence to violence. Continue.
All they did was lawn signs. That's it. You know what the lawn sign said? Hate has no home here. Now, wait a minute. If you don't practice hate, why would you take that personally?
Why do you hate Christians? Why are you such an evil person against Christians? Why do you... This is retarded. Chank, you're literally a part of a group named the Young Turks and got offended when people asked if you knew what Young Turks were. You know, the people that helped with the Armenian genocide. Basically the Hitler Youth of the Ottoman Empire in Turkey. Really, Chank? Coming from the Young Turks, you want to talk about trying or getting offended about being called hateful? When people mention your name as being a hate group, you got offended. That proves the point that you're hateful too.
But you do practice hate. That's the whole point of your group, so you did take it personally.
No, the whole point of the group was to bring back fraternity in the aspect of a gentleman's club. He literally mentions this. I'm no expert on the Proud Boys, but when he mentions why he created the Proud Boys, it was supposed to be a guys-only club. It wasn't even originally created for violence. Although, if you bring violence to them, they will bring violence 10 times harder, from what I can tell.
And you think Soros funded the lawn signs?
I don't agree with the aspect of Soros putting in lawn signs, because if Soros was involved, it would have been a lot more extreme than just a few yard signs. The dude has donated millions of dollars to the Democratic Party. I shouldn't even say millions, it's more like tens of millions. So if he really wanted to get on Gavin McInnes' case, he would have had people in front of his house protesting him, as they did with Tucker Carlson.
No, your good, well-meaning neighbors got together and they were like,
First of all, I like how he assumes these are good-meaning neighbors. You have no idea who his neighbors are, so...
I can't believe that there's a monster among us.
You really think Gavin McInnes is a monster? When I think of monsters, I think of Hitler, and I think of Stalin, and Mao Zedong, and Kim Jong-un, even if we're going to go more recently. Those are monsters. If you really think Gavin McInnes is the human version of a monster, you're retarded, Chank. Which, I mean, it's clearly obvious because, first of all, your intelligence of the group you're literally named after is minimal.
And so they didn't do anything aggressive. All they just said is, we're against hate. That's it.
Yeah, Chank's right on that one. But I like how he assumes that Gavin McInnes is the epitome of hate, yet... So, I'm going to bring this up, like, multiple times, because the topic is hate, and they're a group named after a hate group, the Hitler Youth of the Ottoman Empire in Turkey. Really? Gavin McInnes hasn't committed genocide. The group you're named after has.
And what do? You do an anti-Semitic conspiracy theory.
Anti-Semitic. How did I know he was going to mention, Republicans and Gavin McInnes hate Jews? No. The reason people don't like George Soros is because he's donated tens, on the right, because he's donated tens of millions of dollars to the Democrats. You don't see people like Gavin and the general Republican Party hating Ben Shapiro and saying, kill Ben Shapiro. That's the left. Is Antifa anti-Semitic? Are you anti-Semitic? Because you don't like Ben Shapiro either, from what I can tell. I mean, you've had debates with him, and he's kicked your butt on it. But you must be an anti-Semite because you don't like Ben Shapiro.
Mm-hmm.
Say, oh yeah, I'm not for hate. It's that Soros, the wealthy Jew that's funding.
Again, I love how they have to make it about race or ethnicity. That's what Democrats always have to do, and it's just the funniest thing on the planet.
All of this. Out of what? This? I mean, it's preposterous. You made that up. It's a conspiracy theory, and it's a deeply anti-Semitic one, and you know it.
Deeply anti-Semitic. No. That's not deeply anti-Semitic because he named one person who has donated to multiple organizations like the Democracy Alliance, the Center for American Progress. He's donated to Hillary through the Ready for Hillary, my apologies. Which is ironic because you guys don't like Hillary either, so you guys act like you're blind to this stuff. Part of the reason Hillary beat out Bernie was because of George Soros. The dude donated $9.5 million to Hillary in a one-year span from June 2015 to August 2016. Donating $1 million in June of 2015, $6 million in December of 2015, and $2.5 million in August of 2016, plus money he had donated to her before then. So, give or take $10 million known dollars worth of known donations, and that's even less than what he did when he donated $23 million to try to defeat George Bush in the mid to early 2000s, which is right before he started donating to Hillary, which was, I think, the soonest one I had seen was in 2013. It could have even been sooner than that. So, enough said.
Right? And you do it while pretending you're against hate. You're the worst kind of trash.
So he
Chank, stop talking about yourself like that. We know you're not trash. You're just simply ill-informed and can't see the irony in things. And need to stop drinking all that bacon grease and just whatever you're eating. You're getting unhealthy.
He refers to himself as like this radical protector of free speech. But when his neighbors want to put up signs condemning hate,
he didn't say we should get these signs removed and these people should be condemned for their actions. He said he didn't like it. Get over it. People cannot like things. I didn't like the Democratic candidate in my local election, and I didn't like seeing the signs. I'm not gonna lie, I got petty over it sometimes. I didn't think those signs should be removed. I just thought those people were ill-informed. Just like I think these people are ill-informed, if what you're saying is true. For all I know, you guys could be lying, and these people could be like, yeah, we just don't like how radical he is, but he seems like a decent guy in person. You guys are literally calling him a monster, so...
he throws a hissy fit about it. Okay?
Oh, your feelings,
Yeah.
sir, little white trash.
What he said is racist, but calling him white trash is not racist. Good job, TYT. You guys definitely aren't ironic at all.
Okay, so I'm free speech. I should be able to call for violence.
I like how Chank's voice sounds like how most people imagine him talking. Gavin McInnes does not sound like that. I like how he tries to get his voice deeper to act like Gavin McInnes. It's probably because Gavin McInnes is way more masculine than Chank, so I understand that.
And choking people. He also said choke a tranny. It's like if you see one, you know what kind of physical violence that transgender people in this country live under?
They live pretty decently from what I've seen. Then again, I live in a liberal state, so maybe that's my bias, but majority of the state's Republican outside of Seattle. But most trans people do just fine. There are jokes made about trannies, but there's also jokes made about white people, Hispanics, which I'm a part of both groups. There's also jokes about Asians who are doing pretty well. Jews, blacks, Native Americans. More jokes about... I've heard more jokes about Chank. You, Chank, than I have heard about trannies. Anyways.
Every day, the threat of violence, as well as the violence...
Threat of violence? Where in God's green earth do you go where trannies get constantly death threats? Even on the internet is one of the darkest places, and maybe a lot of my friends, who, by the way, are generally conservative, well, not all of them, I do have some trans friends. I have friends that have gender dysphoria. In fact, I have family that has gender dysphoria, and boy, howdy, they get more than I ever got in terms of like, oh, you're gonna be okay, and yada yada yada, all this PC bullcrap. Sorry, this is just irritating to me because they hardly ever get hate. And yeah, some trans people get a lot of hate on the internet. Everyone gets hate on the internet.
Itself because of monsters like this.
Again, he calls Gavin McInnes a monster, which is just hilarious.
And he thinks it's funny.
I think it's funny.
It's funny that I threaten your life. And there's a term for this that I did not know before, stochastic terrorism. What it is I didn't do the terrorism. I just encouraged other people to do it. And when it...
What? I didn't encourage the terrorism, or I didn't do the terrorism, I encouraged it. That's illegal in the United States, by the way, my good friend. If you encourage violence through speech, you can go to jail for that. Unless what you're saying is like how Ben Shapiro supports fascism or is a white nationalist and a Nazi, which by the way is ironic because Ben Shapiro's a Jew. Then that's not illegal. Which kind of speech are you talking about? Can you give me a quote? Oh, wait. It's Chank. I forgot. I just gotta Google it.
pops up and somebody actually does violence against you, not my fault. You saw it on that tape. He basically brags about it.
He brags about bringing violence to people who have caused violence. He literally says, in your own video you showed, he says, if this isn't word for word, but if they throw a brick at us, why can't we throw a brick at them?
So when his neighbors also practice free speech, and a tiny little, most inoffensive free speech you can say, just saying we're against hate. He's like,
by the way, that's what I think when I think of Chank's face. That's my reaction of Chank's face. But boy, is this ironic. The left is known for trying to restrict speech, and yet you're talking about how the littlest of speech offends him. He's not offended. Well, from what I could be mistaken. I haven't seen the actual video, but from the quote, it doesn't, and what they've said, it doesn't sound like he's like, oh, sob, sob, sob. Oh, I'm so offended. These have to be removed now. No, it sounds like he thinks that someone is the reason for it and he's not happy about it. You cannot be happy about something. This is America. You can get petty over whatever you want. But he didn't say, oh, we need to remove these signs now, or, oh, we need to restrict speech for this. What?
it's free speech. What a loser you are, Gavin McGee.
If anyone's a loser, Chank, it's you. Chank, you are one of the most toxic people. I can't believe at one point I looked up to you guys and was a Bernie supporter because of you guys. God, what was I smoking? Because, and I'll admit, I'm Generation Z / millennial. I'm about to hit the 20s. I'm 19. Oh, but early high school to mid high school, I watched TYT pretty much religiously. And unlike these retards, I was more willing to look into other political views, and that's when I came in contact with Louder with Crowder, Ben Shapiro, Milo, even though, God, Milo's annoying. I will say Milo has some good moments, but overall, Milo's annoying. But anyways, I think Milo and Chank should be really close together. I mean, both of them are pretty retarded. The only difference is their political affiliation.
It is. Well, I thought you were a populist, but it looks like you live in a fancy neighborhood. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, there is nothing wrong with being a populist who lives in a nice neighborhood. The American dream is to live in a nice neighborhood. Most people want to live in a nice neighborhood, so what's your point? What do you gotta do, live in downtown Detroit or something? Oh wait, no, hipsters live there.
But then when your neighbors don't like you, all of a sudden, oh, but the rich elite. He says that one of them tried to get him kicked out of his country club. Did they, Gavin? No, your country club. Oh, you're so punk. Oh, you're such a populist. Oh,
what? This is retarded.
but guys, they're trying to kick me out of the country club.
I would be pretty petty if someone tried to get me kicked out of a country club purely for my political views. He's not saying get these people removed from the area or something, restricting their free speech. He just says he doesn't agree with it. So what? He can be petty if he wants to. This is America, dang it.
What a pathetic loser you are.
Chank, stop talking about yourself like that. It's not good. I know you need to lose some weight, but you need to chill, dude. Also, I love how the TYT logo is showing as they're talking about the Gavin McInnes being a hateful monster. The Young Turks, really.
It's amazing because they want to go around saying whatever it is that they want to say, but they never want to face any of the consequences for saying the things that they say.
What? Are you talking about Republicans or are you talking about the alt-right, which, by the way, Gavin McInnes has said that he is not a part of the alt-right. He doesn't and he might have previously been a part of the alt-right, but he has disavowed being a part of the alt-right and the Proud Boys being a part of the alt-right. I don't think Gavin McInnes is alt-right in the aspect of racism and believing that, like, this anti-identity politics of we're going to support white people because identity politics. I don't think that's Gavin McInnes. I think that Gavin McInnes has more of an extreme view, but I don't think he's alternate right.
Right? You think that you can go around talking about choking trannies?
Yes, because it depends on what context.
Talking about punching people if they just simply ask.
If you're referencing when he wants to punch Antifa because they have incited violence, then yes.
Ask, do you support Trump? Like,
supporting Trump. Did I mishear something? Because what does this have to do with Trump?
Simply ask, do you support Trump? Like, you think you go
Oh, okay. They're referencing when he says if they support Trump. Yeah.
around saying that, and everyone has to like you. Everyone in your neighborhood has to love you. No,
I don't think he said that at all.
people hate you, and they hate you for a good reason.
Same to you, Anna. Same to you, Chank.
Because you spread hate.
Same to you, Anna. Same to you, Chank.
You go around talking about how much you despise people who aren't exactly like you.
Same with you, Chank. Same with you, Anna.
And the little losers that you run around with.
The Proud Boys, I'd say they're a lot more masculine than Chank over there. I mean, dude's probably drinking bacon grease right now to drown his sorrows.
I mean, this is the consequence. You have the right to say the things that you have to say. The government can't go after you for that. But people get to dislike you or protest the things that you have to say, and you have to deal with it.
No.
He doesn't have to deal with it. Can they protest? Yeah, they can do whatever they want as long as it's not inciting violence. But can he not be happy about it? Sure.
And look, so his wife put out a statement.
Oh, you take a break from his bacon grease.
And I would never ever bring his wife into it if she didn't put out a statement herself, Emily McInnes. And I got nothing against her at all. She says, look, I'm a Native American. I'm proud about that. And unlike the right wing, I will not question it. I assume she, of course, is.
Are you referencing Elizabeth Warren, who is like 2% Native American? Really? I'll assume she's not lying, unlike their right. Well, the right had good reason because Elizabeth Warren had literally no proof. She literally used it to take advantage. She used it as a way to try to get popularity in politics and getting into Harvard. From what I understand, a little bit of her getting accepted into Harvard, I believe it was either as a student or professor, was because she claimed to be Native American, and this was during the 90s, so affirmative action was even stronger than it is today. Actually, that's a lie. It's probably weaker than it is today. Regardless, affirmative action.
Right? And she says she votes Democrat. Okay, nothing wrong with any of that, right?
No, because she aligns with you, so of course there's nothing wrong with that. The only mistake she ever made in your guys' eyes is marrying Gavin McInnes.
And look, she's in a tough spot because she's married to a monster.
No, she's not. She's married to a guy who disagrees with you,
and she's just trying to get along. She's got kids, and I feel for her in that regard, right? But then she says, my husband's a Trump supporter and enjoys being a provocateur at times, and he has a passion for free speech. No, as we...
Yes, you can not like what people say. How many times am I going to have to say this, Chank? You can disagree or not like what people have to say. Free speech advocates don't say you can't dislike something. The problem free speech activists have against Democrats is Democrats want to literally make certain speech illegal. For example, hate speech. That's where the line is drawn. You can get petty as much as you want.
just explained you don't have a passion for free speech because you don't like it when other people speak.
That has nothing to do with free speech activism.
Okay, but most importantly, you think it's cute. Oh, he's a provocateur.
When did she say it was cute to be a provocateur? She just said he's a provocateur because a lot of the newer or more extreme Republican side tend to be a lot more troll. Heck, I even have aspects of provocateur by calling you a retard, Chank. And making jokes about certain things. You can be a provocateur.
I provoke people into attacking, choking, potentially killing.
He doesn't provoke any of that. And I'm not going to trust your perspective on this because you literally took a lot of what he said out of context and what the Proud Boys are supposed to be out of context. And by the way, I don't even agree with the Proud Boys philosophy.
Others, transgender people, people who are the others. Oh, well, he didn't target Native Americans. Well, I guess lucky you.
That proves the point that he's not a white supremacist or a Nazi. At least in terms of the Nazi of Germany. Well, yeah, no, Nazi would be spot on. No. Yeah, you neo-Nazis are white supremacists and white supremacists. You can't... You literally start the argument 8 seconds in about how it's Nazis and neo-Nazis and white supremacists. So this argument right here contradicts what you said 7 minutes and 30 seconds ago.
Right? But did he target other people? Over and over and over
Okay, that still ignores what I just said.
again. And is he a lunatic? One of his theories is that George Soros is funding an army of lesbian lawyers.
I assume that was a joke on McInnes's part because I don't think many people think that George Soros is hiring literal lesbian lawyers. I think that's him stereotyping and making a joke in the aspect of how a lot of Democrats tend to be lesbian lawyers. Not literally, but a bunch of feministic retards.
Okay, look, some of it is funny because he's so stupid. Like,
Yeah, he is funny, unlike you guys.
it's hard not to laugh at something that stupid.
I do that to you all the time.
But when you call for violence and your idiot followers, who are also among the dumbest people in the country, listen.
No, the dumbest people on the planet are the people who watch you. Okay, I won't say that because some people do want you to cringe. And I mean, I'm literally watching you right now, for example. Heck, you've watched Kevin McInnes. That's ironic. Clearly, because otherwise you wouldn't be able to comment on this. But I love how he assumes that the people who watch him are dumb or retarded. You don't know who's watching him and what their intent of watching is. I used to watch Gavin McInnes. I also used to watch Cenk Uygur and the retarded Young Turks. Your point is?
Listen to you and believe you and commit that violence as the Proud Boys have over and over again.
The Proud Boys is a very large group, so if you're going to use the justification of Antifa and the left as, oh, it's just a small minority, oh, these protests were for good, and then one or two people did stupid stuff, that's clearly not the majority. That's the same exact thing with the Proud Boys. A lot of Proud Boys, from literally the videos you've shown, I'd say at least half of the videos, if not all of the sections shown, were them defending themselves after something was thrown at them and then retaliating. Do I justify it? Kind of. Do I support it? No. Is it understandable? Kind of.
Then that is a real problem, and it's not cute, and it's not being a provocateur. It's actually...
When did she say cute? Is this just him taking it out of context? Because I'm confused when she mentioned it was cute. Provocateur, yes, because that is what Gavin is. He says things that provoke people to get angry.
Purposely causing harm to others because you're a terrible person.
Same with you, Cenk.
And if people call you out for that, just just have the decency to live with it. Why aren't you proud? Aren't you supposed to be the Proud Boys?
Oh, it's such a good point.
Okay.
What
Anna, your voice is almost as annoying as Chank's.
happened?
So why all of a sudden you're like, oh no, they pointed out the things I was saying. Boo-hoo. Can I get back in the country club? Loser through and through.
Chank, we know you're a loser. Shut up. Oh my goodness.
2 easy ways to follow the Young Turks. One is hit the
Yeah, no, I'm not going to show the part of where you follow the Young Turks, because if you're following the Young Turks, dear God, is there a problem? I will be doing another Young Turks video because I hate my life, and that's what you do. CNN suing Trump over Jim Acosta ban. I can only assume that's either going to be hilarious or retarded. Since I see that TYT logo, I'm going to assume retarded and hilarious. Anyways, so my overall thoughts on this video are, Jank, you're as retarded as ever, and there are so many problems with you, and thank God the next video I'm watching is only going to be of Anna Kasparian, as a hint to the next video. Yeah. Thank you so much for watching. I've been Pursy P. And let's just get a couple windows in my OBS, because whoop whoop. Just to show you a little bit of the setup of what I do, as this is my first video on this channel. Although I have uploaded videos on other channels, I will not disclose them because I do want them separate for the aspect of they are not political. And so I want to keep the politics onto this channel and then kind of keep the two separate. Although I have made political comments on my other channel, and that's the point of making this channel, so that they can be independent, because I don't want my other channel to be judged because of my political views, because I know that will be a problem with the category of my other channel. Anyways, yeah, this is Pursy P. I might have said Pursy. Pursy P. As in fat politics. Yeah. Because got them fat knowledges. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. Pursy P. Peace.